Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a very special occasion, purely for your entertainment tonight. We are your hosts, Lionheart, Mike Nikos, and I'm here with
the Executioner, Michael X.
And welcome to
Open Mic Night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new and improved show, Open Mic Night, starring your hosts, Mike Nikos and...
It's me, Michael X. I'm not going to go by my legal last name for the fact that I don't need you fuckers finding my house.
Fair enough. On this podcast, we'll be talking all sorts of news that you might find interesting, some news that we've come across that we wouldn't be talking on our other podcast, the Indie Force. So this podcast is mainly just for stuff that you might want to enjoy, something you would be open to debate to. But other than that, this is a pretty chill podcast. We take our time looking over the things, doing our little research, and giving our opinions on the stuff that we find.
So let's do it to it.
Let's do it up.
So this little podcast, we wanted to talk about something that hasn't really been touched on truly by a lot of individuals. This kind of discussion was brought about because of somebody like, Mr. fucking Neil the Cuckman. So we decided, you know what, why don't we get into it, because we got the chance to fully see the his ideal of a well put together female protagonist. And oh boy, were we not impressed.
Oh, definitely not. It was quite a disaster while looking into it.
Exactly. So why don't we go into the obvious elephant in the room, which is, how do you describe Ellie as a main character to any franchise? And I would say it's not a bad main character. It's just not an intriguing one.
Yeah.
If Ellie's designed in this new game the way that she is, it's not going to be something that people are going to want to constantly come back to.
Of course. Over the past years, we've taken a look at other video game protagonist characters who are female, who are innovative and are interesting to look at through different layers that they have. But with Ellie, it feels more downplayed than what we would expect for a female protagonist, especially from the information that we provided you in the Indie Force episodes.
Now, the problem with Ellie's design and just a general character is there's no real depth. It's just what we see is what we get. And I understand that if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. But I need to have an interest in the main character enough to want to continue to play the game. And
exactly.
With her new, I guess you could say, redesign, I don't get it. And I know somebody's going to sit there and say, well, you're not female. You don't understand the empowerment of a good female protagonist. And I'm like, I can name a couple off the top of my head that are well put together and well designed and have a look to them that, you know, you're going to want to see more of. Now, it can range from simple little things, technological differences. I mean, let's be honest, one of the most iconic video game characters when it comes to female is going to be Lara because of the massive sex appeal that she had. But that's not going to be enough. So what we want to discuss, must be the new type of music that's coming out. Disca. It's disco and ska music. Oh, boy. Disca. Somebody's going to make that, I fucking swear. Somebody's going to do it just to spite me.
Please do it. We encourage it.
Because I fucking hate ska music more than I should. I fucking hate it so much.
But ska, that's where it's at.
Ska. Yeah. So, in any case, let's talk about some that you could be considered, or at least could be considered over-sexualized, and take a look at a couple that absolutely aren't, and go from there. So, the obvious one that everybody's going to be pointing to. You could say Lara Croft, you could say this, but let's be honest, the big one is always going to be Bayonetta. That character
Exactly.
is absolute sex appeal, but it works for what the story is.
Mm-hmm.
She is supposed to be the thing that people want more than anything else. You want a main character that, especially your first time doing something that isn't, well, Devil May Cry, you need a female main character that has some lasting power with the design. And there's no denying that design is fucking iconic. It's well put together. It's well done. And it makes you care about who the main character is.
Yes. Now, for my understanding on a female protagonist that actually over-sexualizes the whole ideology, comes from, and can't believe I'm saying this, Final Fantasy VII Remake, where we see characters such as Tifa and some of the concubines that the boss keeps. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. As well as one of the members of Shinra. Yes, definitely that woman. Now, I don't know too much about her name because I'm not familiar at all with the Final Fantasy franchise, but after looking at 7 and its history, yeah, it's kind of expected to. Since it's all modeled from other medias of, like, either anime or from other games.
Agreed. And when you take a look at it as a whole, it's not, I guess you could say, understated.
Oh, sure.
Tifa does have sex appeal, but in a way, it's not too much. And let me explain. I know you're going to have those people out there that go, what are you talking about? Look at her entire design, her outfit, everything that makes her her. It's like, but when you take Tifa's personality and her quirks and the things that make her her, it speaks into what her outfit is. The over-sexualized, goofy fucking street punk who's the toughest thing on the goddamn planet when she needs to be. Who is a caring, kind individual and shows it, and lives in a part of town where it's like, yeah, how do you get people coming back into the bar? You dress a certain way. Sex appeal sells. Even if you're working behind the counter, sex appeal does sell. That's why places like Hooters. And those that deny that Hooters even does exist, you're out of your mind. Those are some of the biggest money makers in the world.
Oh, facts.
And I'm not talking about the tits.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more of the simplistic factor of, if you're going to design a female main character, you need to have something that no other one has, and that's an iconic design, and nobody will ever say that she doesn't. Tifa's design is so fucking good, she's still being cosplayed almost 30 years later. That's why I said almost 30 years, because of the fact that the game did come out in the late 90s. But almost 30 years later, this character is still being cosplayed for how good the design is. And people of all different shapes, sizes, bodies, and colors have cosplayed Tifa, and they've done it very, very well. That's a good female protagonist and a very good female character for the fact that you're able to enjoy her company. You don't just look at her as a sex object, you see her as a person when over the course of playing the game. Now, how to get a bad female character that's over-sexualized for the fact of just being over-sexualized, well, I hate to say it, but one of them probably is from Mortal Kombat.
Uh-huh. I was actually going to suggest one character from Mortal Kombat.
Go to it.
I was going to suggest Syndel, especially from her design for DLC for Mortal Kombat 11. It's just clickbait. You know what it is.
It is.
And of course, it's supposed to be sexualized because that's Syndel, that's her nature, where she's supposed to be glamorous and deadly.
But there is such a thing as there's too much. And I think, honestly, the design that pulls it out the most is her outfits in Mortal Kombat 9.
Oh, true.
Absolutely. It's her outfits in MK9. There's just too much skin showing. I've always said that I've never been a fan of the female ninja designs, except for like, I'm like, I don't know why that design is stuck with me. Probably because it's a female Sub-Zero and it's done well. But I just feel like it's too much shown and not enough of function. Like, you can understand Katana having a regal, very good look, and I think her new design in Mortal Kombat 11 absolutely is the embodiment of that. Absolutely. It is the best design that she's ever had. It's not too much, but not too little. Very lightweight, but has a bit of armor.
Uh-huh.
Understand the function of the entire outfit from head to toe, because you're not questioning the outfit from head to toe. But when you have somebody like Syndel, or hell, even Melina, and I get the idea is the fact that she's a monster under the mask, and it's her body that she's trying to sell. It's like, yeah, I get that. I completely understand where you're going with that, and I'm not going to bash you for it.
Indeed.
Well, you got to put Syndel's age into account, that she is a good chunk of time older than most. She's older than most of the members of the roster.
Yeah.
Hell, to my knowledge, I think she might be older than Shao Kahn.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I remember. I believe that she might be actually older than Shao Kahn himself. Which, hey, it could be bad, it could be good, depending on how you look at it. I would recommend, if you want a good female main character that can keep you interested enough to continue to play the game on top of very fun gameplay. Nikos and I have been talking about her for a while now.
Yeah, we have.
Faith from Mirror's Edge is a well put together character with an incredible design. That character design speaks of the world that she's in and what her profession is instantly. As soon as you see her, you understand, oh, she's a free runner. Instantly, as soon as you see that outfit, it's all about comfort and function.
Yep.
There's not too much and not too little, and you're not asking questions by the end of the day of why would she wear a single glove? Why wouldn't she wear two? Well, actually, it makes a lot of sense when you're climbing to be able to have one strong hand and one weak hand. You usually put the glove in the weak hand for the fact that it adds more support. Exactly. That's a good female character design, and I think the sequel gets it wrong a lot, because it's like, it's too much. There's too much going on. She's got a vest on now. It's going to limit her where she's going to be going from point A to point B now. I'm not a fan personally.
Yeah, it kind of kills the touch.
Well, you just want to see her exposed shoulders. No, not really. I just want a character. I just want a character that is well put together in design, but it also has a very good story, and Faith has a very good story. And if we can go back, Syndel has a very good story, but the outfit is too much to look at. There's so much shit going on with each outfit that she wears. It's like, where the fuck does the seam begin? Or is this a part of her skin?
One could look at it differently, but yeah, basically.
And I know. We're looking like nitpicky little bitches for this simplistic factor. And I'm not going to deny that we are a little nitpicky on design. I mean, Nikos, Casey, James, and I do run a show where we have tried as much as possible to find the middle ground of sex appeal and function. It's hard to do.
But it's not impossible.
It's not impossible, and I'm not going to sit there and say, well, WIW is the fucking pinnacle of that. It's like, no, there's designs that have to be worked on. But I think that at the end of all this discussion that we're going to be having tonight is we're going to be leaning to a topic of, why is feminism in general as a thing kind of ruining gaming? And I think it's because the outfits are suffering because of it. You either have two different sides of a spectrum instead of just saying, well, this works and so does this. There's a spectrum on it. And I know we could talk about Neil, we could talk about Anita, we could talk about those two pinnacles that are attempting to, I wouldn't say manize a female character, but definitely tomboy up a female character to make them look less feminine and more masculine.
Yeah, and I think that was the whole point for Ellie's design in Last of Us. Even Druckmann had to say that he made the women in the game look less androgynous. So it kind of feels like it prefers to more like the less feminine side. But then
that's
again,
the problem. If you can't look at a woman and say that's a woman, then what's the point of having a female main character? If you can't say that that's a man by looking at it and that's a man, then what's the point of making a male character? Now, I know somebody could sit there and say, but Mike, don't you like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where most dudes look like chicks, have very feminine qualities of their face? Yeah, I do, because the story caught me in fast. I was very interested in all the crazy, wacky shit in the world.
It's bizarre, but
It's exactly as the title says.
Us. Yeah.
Exactly. It's exactly as the title tells you. It's fucking bizarre. The outfits don't need to make sense. Because it already tells you from day one when the show starts, from day one when you open up the manga panel, from day one as soon as you hear the title, it's bizarre. What you're getting into is a very bizarre world of bizarre designs, bizarre fucking elements, and crazy-ass characters. That's what you're getting. It's not like having... would be a good example. That's like having a God of War game and having not Kratos be the main character, which is possible to do, and then completely changing it to Helen of Troy as your main character. But instead of looking what Helen of Troy should look like, she's got a six-pack and a dick that's 14 inches long, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's getting to that point where it's unreal, and it should not make sense. That's when you realize you just got to stop and think it over. It's not that hard when you really think about it together.
I mean, we've given the examples on the Indie Force podcast from time to time. We've talked about this, and I mean, my greatest example is my favorite female character is an old ass lady.
Yeah,
my favorite female character is an old woman, which I've gotten a lot of flack for, of like, oh, I guess he's into gilfs. I'm like, no, I actually just really enjoy the main character. I really enjoy Kreia because of how much she makes you question the world you're in a world with a set series of rules that have been there since day one.
Of course.
That's the main character that you're going to want to come back to constantly. Is the one that makes you go, huh, you know, you're right. Maybe I should be questioning the world around me and how things work. Maybe everything isn't just all black and white. There are grays to everything that happens. Especially in a universe that has established that black and white is good and evil.
True. And the same goes for me. I'm not really invested in the over-sexualization of women. And there's this one female protagonist in the game. I don't know if you call her protagonist or antagonist, but when you think about it, she could mean something. The boss from MGS3 is convoluted, but she's the one that makes the most sense, that ties everything together. And
she's the triple agent.
Yeah.
She betrayed a side to join a side to help the original side. She's a triple agent.
Yeah. It helps herself, and it just kind of gives the ideology that she's not really the bad guy here. She's just trying desperately to help others when they most need it.
I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest boss fights in gaming history. The boss is one of the greatest one-on-one encounters you're ever going to have, for the fact that she challenges the shit out of you. It's not an easy one-on-one encounter by any stretch or by any mean. It is the hardest fight you're going to have in the game.
Definitely.
And it makes sense. It really does, because she's trained the main character, and she's a strong, independent female character that is so well put together, that has had her sacrifices, that has done everything that she has. And I've talked about it in the past with a couple other people that have been on the podcast. Yeah, you never need another game. If you just had MGS3, you could easily go from Metal Gear 1, 2, into Solid, into 4. You do not need any other type. You don't need Peace Walker, and you don't need 5.
Exactly.
You absolutely understand why he was the gentleman to be like, I am so fucking sick of an army with borders that I am going to specifically counter that point 100%. And I'm like, that's a good main character.
Indeed.
The character that as soon as you get to the ending and you find out everything that you find out, it's so impressive. It's so unique and so interesting, and she has such a good design. And on top of the fact that she's Ocelot's mom, which also helps because she gave birth to one of the greatest villains / triple agents himself.
Yeah.
Who has worked against and for and against again.
It's a cycle that's completed itself.
Exactly. It's a good character because it leads to a better character later on. I mean, there's no denying that the boss is not one of the most important characters in Metal Gear history, or has one of the most important moments ever of making Big Boss be born.
True. Now, a lot of people will somewhat argue that, well, Quiet is also a pretty interesting character that focuses on MGS5. Yeah, but that kind of reverts back to the over-sexualization issue.
But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with that. At least the over-sexualization had a reason to exist. It's not a good reason, but at least it kind of makes sense when you sit down and you think about it.
Oh, agreed.
Why does she not wear as much clothes as she should? She's in a desert environment when you want to cover up. Well, it's actually because that she's kind of like a plant that she breathes through her skin.
Yeah. It's all photosynthesis.
Covering her up kills her. Oh, well, I mean, let's be 100% honest. It's only because of the fact that Kojima really wanted to design a big-titted side character. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But at least it was like, I'm not gonna just go for the easy option on this one. I'm gonna come up with a thought, or at least an ideal, that somebody could sit there and be like, that's not a great reason, but at least it's something. It's better than hearing that I just really wanted to do it. At least it's something.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I got a bad main character for you, or a bad character in general that is female.
Go ahead.
So I had to take some time to actually sit down and think about this, because I'm like, what's a really good example of a bad female character that has no rhyme, no reason to exist, and is just there to be this big important thing? And when I have to go outside of gaming to find the perfect opportunity for that, or the perfect person, and I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it has to be Rey from the fucking new trilogy. It's such a
I can see where your point is.
It's such a Mary Sue. It's not even funny. It's not well developed. She might have some format of a backstory, but nobody cares enough to figure it out. It's like, if you're requiring me to go that extra distance to figure out what your plan is, then I don't care anymore. I shouldn't have to do my fucking homework to figure out how this main character works in the universe that you're in.
Oh, true.
It's one thing to have a main character that makes you question your morals, your beliefs, your ideology, how you think. But to sit there and say that's what you absolutely need at all times is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my big one. That's not my biggest choice that I would prove as my example of examples, but it really doesn't help whatsoever when you have a character that's just, I can do anything. And it's like, can you though? And then it gets proven, oh yeah, she absolutely can do anything because she's that good at what she does. And then you go, great. I'm glad that this character will never have a struggle in her existence.
Yeah.
Will never have anything to truly challenge her. You know what it is? It's the Superman problem. That's what it is. It's the Superman problem.
I can see where it is.
It's the Superman issue. I'm so fucking strong and so fucking powerful that the story isn't about what my struggle's going to be and how I'm going to overcome it. It's how does a god exist on a world of mere mortals? And that's what that story is about.
Yeah.
But
when we take a look at Rey, where she's been surrounded by people who have trained their whole lives for a meaningful purpose, she just trains just because, I believe I'm strong enough to handle this. I don't really care about all the training that other people had. I mean, I just acquire it because I can.
Train 7 days and a year.
You're overly powered. That's it.
7 days, strongest character in existence. Go fuck yourself. That's how we're gonna. I would say a good female character that I think people really do enjoy, which is the polar opposite of Rey, of not being a Mary Sue in the film industry, I'm gonna go Ripley, Sigourney Weaver's character from Alien.
Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about.
A character
She's a really good one.
A character that is a survivalist at heart and was the only survivor amongst her entire crew, and in the second movie kills one of the biggest threats that we've ever seen in sci-fi when it comes to an alien species at the time.
Oh, true. And I like to counter that with another badass female protagonist that is like Ripley, but in a way, she just kind of adds more of the, like, tenacity to how she gets the job done. Sure. I would say Sarah Connor from Terminator.
And that's a great example of a female character that, let's be honest, isn't over-sexualized in any fucking formative way. Doesn't need to be. And is,
of course,
in the first movie, is the damsel in distress is trying to figure out how the fuck to survive against a being that is unstoppable.
Yep.
And then the second movie happens. And then that character gets her moment of moments of, oh, I'm going to fuck up a Terminator. I know how to fuck up Terminators now, and I know how to fuck them up hard. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I've trained to do this now.
And then
I was literally day prepping with my son.
And such a transformation in these films that you could actually see just what creates the woman in the type of situation that she's been through. Like, when she sees danger, at first her instinct is to run away and hide, but when she's used to the situation, that's when it's time to take action. And the more you perfect through the practice of it, the better you get into it.
Now, there is one character that I think outbeats everybody.
Go ahead.
Has the over-sexualization, but that happened later. And was considered a man for the longest time till people realized, well, she wasn't a man. She was the baddest bitch in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Samus Aran, dude.
Oh, completely forgot about her.
Everybody usually does, but she's the first video game female protagonist.
And a good one, too.
He literally started a whole series. One of the most important Nintendo franchises ever.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even go into full depth on that. It's exactly as it sounds. She is that important to the video game industry. Without her, my God, you wouldn't be getting female characters in gaming that often.
Oh, of course.
Like Samus is a through and through badass character who loses her power-ups at the start of every game because, of course, you have to backtrack all the time. But then you go, damn, girl, I wish you carried like a wallet or something on you, for fuck's sake. Stop losing all your shit. And if I had to choose another one off the top of my head, Commander Shepard.
Oh, indeed.
Because remember, there's two.
Yeah.
There's the male version, which you absolutely can do, or the female version, which are both voice acted to incredible fucking levels. Oh, and yeah. I swear to God, if somebody goes, Commander Shepard's over-sexualized, I'd be like, listen, just because you have sex in Mass Effect doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. And
that
one
is
character that
not
actually...
enough.
Oh, you were saying?
That's not enough reason to go. That completely shot out of the water.
Yeah, indeed. There's one character that kind of falls in through like the less feminine side, but an equally playable and a very positively portrayed character in the video game industry, who's come a long way from the first game to following up through the final game. It would be Telltale Games' Clementine from the Walking Dead series game.
Absolutely. She
starts off as a little girl surviving in a very cruel and unforgiving world where the dead is rising up, and through the years of guidance.
To be fair, in the first game, she doesn't know how to do anything. Lee teaches her bits and pieces over time, and she's able to use that as a foundation to work off of.
Oh, of
Over the
course.
course of that game to the sequel, you see a natural progression of this character in such a way where you go, yes, that's exactly the next step that is needed. And then in the final game, it is, this character will survive anything that is thrown in front of her, no matter what.
And if she can't, well, she can inspire others to lead before her, like AJ,
Exactly.
who again is not a boy, who's not a girl, but he kind of teaches everything that she's learned from Lee into him, and she's rewarded when all the teachings that she taught AJ would help save her life.
Exactly.
So that her lessons would continue to the rest of the community that she was in.
And that's the important bit, on top of having like the funniest fucking piece in the entire game with that little kid.
Oh, indeed.
That dialogue is so fucking good. It's not. I can't even deny that. That's super good.
It's
Whether I want
clever,
to,
I'll admit.
it's clever, because if you're not a Blade Runner fan, you wouldn't know shit.
Yeah. And I like how it just kind of fits within types of narratives like these kids have seen throughout the entirety of the game. It all comes together. And again, there's no overly sexualization. It's just positively portrayed characters that see the world for what it is and take up the lessons from what they've learned to better their survival. It has nothing to do with, types of clothes they wear. I mean, the clothes they wear, they're suited for the survivalism, but they are just worn and torn. But that's all they got. There's nothing you can do.
So
even the design of the characters is, especially for Clementine and her friend or girlfriend, if you choose for the final season, not really over-sexualized, and that's good. Just keep it that way.
just keep a character dressed like a character should dress. If you want to do over-sexualization, example, what's a good one? Okay, you have a female spy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can absolutely do the idea of sex kills.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do that. Having a female main character who is a bombshell when you look at her. And why?
Mm-hmm.
It's because that's what her job requires.
Of course.
And I know all these nowadays Marvel kids are gonna say, "What, you mean like your Black Widows?" Maybe.
Well, close to it.
Close enough. It's like, yeah, you could believe that. A female main character that's attractive enough and can hold a conversation and provide some format of sex appeal to somebody, that it feels natural.
Oh, true.
But if you want to talk about a character that grows naturally, that starts off as shitty voice actor to getting her own series, pretty much, and becoming one of the biggest fucking faces in gaming, you can't talk about video game characters without talking about Jill Valentine.
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest her, but take it away.
Jill Valentine, one of the major survivors of Resident Evil / Biohazard, is one of the most important female characters in gaming and shows the growth of the gaming industry, starting off from one of the worst and funniest voice acted games ever made, Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation. The fucking funniest game ever. You almost became a Jill sandwich. And remember, Jill does kill the tyrant. That's the canon thing. She kills the tyrant and she kills Nemesis.
Oh, true.
You can't even say she doesn't even have a body count. She has two of the biggest BOWs under her waist. Just because you can. Which leads into, Jill is probably one of the most recognizable female characters on the board. I mean, you can sit there and say Cortana, but let's be honest, that's not a female character. That's an AI.
Yeah, that's the same thing with GLaDOS, too. Female voice, but AI.
That's an artificial intelligence that was given a body. That's not a female character. Even though somebody can fight me on that and say, well, she has human quality. She was designed human. Yeah, but she's an artificial intelligence. She was designed that way. She's not a human. She's not she is a character, but not a female main character because she really doesn't have a gender.
Yeah.
She cannot have a gender because she wasn't born with a gender.
Mm-hmm.
She's just an artificial intelligence. Now, Ellie has been popped on this list a couple times from here and there. We've talked about, your Lara Crofts having main characters that are over sexualized at the start, and then slowly but surely adding and adding and adding more to it, so that way it's just, oh, it's an outfit of function.
Mm-hmm.
But Nikos, you played Horizon Zero Dawn, correct?
Yeah, I have a little bit, but I'm trying to get back to it. But yeah, I played for a good portion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, Aloy, not a bad character.
Agreed.
I
And I
don't see
think
no flaws in Aloy.
she has a very good design. She fits in the world that she's in. She's got a Norse techno-Viking look to her, which is very impressive because it works.
Yeah.
But I mean, do I have to say Alex Vance from Half-Life, really?
Yeah. I mean,
Do I
Alex
have
Vance, well, she's a good character, I'm not going to lie. But that being said, you're just playing as a VR model version of her. You don't actually see her. I mean, if you remember Half-Life 2, yeah, you remember bits and pieces of her. But I guess you could say that she was there just to be there, or she could be essential for it.
To be fair, in Half-Life 2, she is the one that saves Gordon from all the cops.
Oh, exactly.
She saves Gordon from all the cops. She helps him along the way. She is
essential.
She is the love interest of the story, and it's very obvious, that factor. She is very likable as a main character. She doesn't piss you off and annoy you. She's right there. She's fucking with you, which is even funnier. She has a moment where she starts making zombie noises, and you're just looking around and go, what the fuck? You shine a light on her. She goes, I was just kidding. Relax. You're like, you fucking bitch. How dare you? I'll throw this grenade down the hallway and tell you to go down that way.
Yeah.
Go chase that grenade.
Because why not?
Of course. I know that there's a couple others that we can put out there. You have Children of the Light, which is also very good. You have the Hellblade game that just came out a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we were discussing is more of, I think now we have to go to the second part of this, is how do we take that and start putting it into more games where it's needed?
Yeah.
Where a female main character actually might shake up the story a little bit and help. And I have a good example.
Shoot.
We have never had a Rockstar game with the female lead.
That is true. We mainly had side characters, but that's all they are. They're just side characters.
We have never had a Rockstar game with the female lead. Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, Bully 2, from some of the concept art that we were able to find, I mean, not all of it's real, but from the little bit that we were able to find out about, they were thinking female main character. And I'm like, that would be fun. Rockstar's the one franchise, the one goddamn company, to my knowledge, I'm going to put that in parentheses, and to my knowledge, has never had a female main character.
Now, when I was doing my research for Red Dead Redemption 2, at first I thought they were going to follow the GTA 5 angle where you switch different characters, where you get to switch between Arthur and you get to switch between Sadie Adler and to Charles, the African-American Native American character.
But the problem comes in with that is that it's a Western. You have a Western, very focused story to begin with. It's very cut and dry. You go from point A to point B in the story, and that's how it goes.
Agreed. And with Rockstar Games, female characters, though, yeah, they are side characters, they've come a long way from being like over-sexualized and be more definitive to their nature. Like when you look at characters like Sadie Adler in Red Dead 2, she starts from a grieving widow because she just lost her husband and her home to a badass outlaw that she accepts to her character. And you kind of hope that this is what you would be able to see for the future of gaming, where you would see more of that type of female protagonist, where they're more grittier, they're like more or less.
I want to see natural character growth, not, and this has to be said, not let's just throw a bunch of words on the board and see which ones people really call pop words.
Yeah.
I think that's gaming as a general statement to gaming in general. As a general statement to gaming, that I want to see more characters. I want to be able to be placed into the world and go, holy fuck, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it. I want to see it happen more than anything
One can
else.
only hope. Maybe it will eventually happen. We just gotta wait it out.
I mean, gaming,
PlayStation 5 was just released, so we might see some future games for that.
But I mean, is it released? Is that out yet, or are they still? Because I don't think they're going to be waiting till 2021 to release that properly.
Well, they only shown us what it looks like, but
yeah,
for release, we're probably not, getting that for a while.
And that's fine.
So it was recently postponed. But what I mean is, for games to show more female protagonists that would appear to look more casual than previous games of what we've seen, that would be an interesting change of pace.
It would be nice to finally get into a game and not sit there and say, oh, great, my main character's female. I can't wait to not have fun. Or say, oh, God, my main character's male. I can't wait to not have fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'll even say this, but I think BioWare's held, or at least done that very well.
Oh, yeah. I have to agree with you on that.
Obsidian's made the first female main character, and the second most popular female character in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mara Jade came out first, and if people wanted to deny that fact, because she was in a video game way before The Exile was in KOTOR 2. So that needs to be said.
Yep.
But that's the important thing, is that, what's the canon main character? This. Why? Because that's what it is.
And we've seen it over multiple times. Like, we just don't expect anything new at this point.
Agreed. I mean, we've had Nathan Drake do his stuff. I mean, there's the additional female characters in his game that I honestly have completely forgotten about, and I know that sounds really bad, but that's because I didn't care enough.
Don't worry about me. It's Nadine, his wife, Elena, his wife, and Chloe Parker from the previous Uncharted games.
Yeah, this is coming from the guy that's only played half of the first game because of the fact of couldn't get into it because had to go home because on vacation, so didn't really have a chance to pick up the game again and play it. But I would like to finally have a female main character where we can all sit down and go, yeah, that's a good fucking character. She is well put together. Her whole design, outfit, everything is set in the world that she's in perfectly. I am not sitting there and going, this aggravates me because she has this. I can't wait for that day.
And I think that's the same problem I had when I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where you had to choose either Alexios or Cassandra. And it doesn't matter who you choose. They're both those characters are not really that well defined. They're just really bland and uninteresting.
They're just a player character. That's all they are.
Yeah.
They don't feel interesting enough to continue playing the game. They just feel like, you're the player character, here's your decisions, done. It's like, oh, great. I can't wait to not care about this. And I hate that. I hate that. Hell, Lily and I were having a discussion about this. And I go, hun, how would you feel about finally getting a female character that could be better represented? She goes, I don't care about better representation in gaming. I just want a female character that makes the women finally stand up and go, that's a good fucking character, and have the guy stand up and say, I completely agree. And I go, yeah, she's right. So finally, it's not even the fact of having representation in gaming, because let's be honest, Samus Aran's one of the coolest fucking female characters you're ever going to get.
Yep.
She's Space Bounty Hunter. How much more badass can you be in a sentence? Besides saying, I have alien DNA in me that allows me to have superpowers. I have superpowers. And I'm a space bounty hunter.
Enough said.
I bounty hunt in space. It's like, that's cool. I just want to see that. I just want to have a definitive female character in a game that everybody can somewhat enjoy. It doesn't have to have everybody, but it needs to be a female character that we can all sit down and celebrate.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is coming from a gentleman that doesn't relatively play female characters in gaming because of the fact that I usually play as guys, for the fact that I like being able to place myself into the story a little bit more easily.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why most people, they just kind of play as the guy protagonist, because it feels to them more relatable to their nature. Where
Agreed.
Females, they just play characters that, more defined to their characters, like other female characters.
And I know somebody,
but we really I know somebody were more.
I know somebody's going to sit there and say, "You're not going to talk about the characters in Overwatch? Listen, they are just there specifically to pander to a certain person. That's all they're there for. Hey, you like ninjas? Well, we have cyborg ninjas. Hey, you like shotguns? Well, here's a character who dual wields them. You like westerns? Here's a character that is a western character. You like angelic
shit?
Here's a
character that is a death.
You like hammers? Hammer.
You like monkey? Here's monkey.
You like some monkey? You want some big and chunky who carries a chain? You got Moto.
Yeah.
Done. He's just Moto. Because he reels them in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more the factor that I want to at least finally see a female main character that I can sit down with Lily and go, that game was fucking good, and not look at that as a female character.
Yeah, agreed.
That would be a good change of pace. And I know somebody's going to sit and say, so Ellie from Last of Us 2? Here's the difference. Here's the major difference. Ellie is pandering, and it is pandering to a specific audience. To a very specific audience, I should say.
Her and the main villain.
It's not interesting. The main character is not interesting anymore for the fact that we don't get to see a little girl grow up and become what she is naturally going to be. We get to see her grow up, die, and now new main character.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a
kind of
spoiler.
details to the harsh environment that they're set in, but when you take a look at the characters, that's the way that they're in. That's their placement. And it's just over-pandering it.
There's no natural, I go from point A to point B, and this is how I get from these 2 points. And here's some of the slopes, some of the turns, the winding roads that lead me into the path that I'm in now. Like, as an example, I like the idea of the hero of your first game becoming the villain and seeing how naturally progressed that becomes.
Exactly.
I'll give an example because I'm a big fucking uber Star Wars nerd.
Mm-hmm.
First KOTOR, you play as Revan. Revan was originally the villain, who later becomes the hero. What do you think happens to him in the second game?
He probably becomes the villain or probably the hero?
No, he disappears.
Ah.
He literally just disappeared off the face of the galaxy. Nobody knows where he went or where he would happen to have gone. And I'm like,
the world needed him most, he vanished.
Exactly. But it's done in such a way where you're able to go, what the fuck did happen? And you start asking questions and you start piecing things together. And then Old Republic came out. SWTOR.
Yeah.
It's SWTOR. It's SWTOR, SWTOR. And you go, oh, fuck, I know what happened to him. He went to go fight the original Emperor, and he lost.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what he did instead of killing him?
What?
Because, killing him would be too easy. He trapped him in a cryosleep, but kept his brain alive just enough so he could see through the force of what was going on around him.
Yep.
And kept him like that for almost 1,000 years.
Mm.
So all of his friends that he knew, they're all dead. Every person that he ever had contact with is long dead.
That's rough, buddy.
Every relationship he's ever had, they're all gone. The planets that he once visited are either wiped out or completely different from how he remembers them.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Show.
The only character to return is HK-47, for he is a droid. And droids do not know what time is.
Yeah.
They don't care about time. They don't give two shits.
Definitely
But
not.
absolutely not. They don't give two shits. So I think my favorite bit to that is main character from the previous game doesn't show up in the sequel, and he disappears and doesn't appear till the next game.
Yeah, I can see more of that.
I want to see more. I want to see, I guess I could say, differentiation in the gaming market. I'm so sick of the standard first-person shooter that's a Michael Bay film. I'm so sick of that. I'm so fucking tired of that.
Yeah.
I'm sick of walking into a hallway and having 50 billion explosions happen. And I'm like, how the fuck did my main character live?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening the way that it is? Why is my main character walking down a hallway and then everybody in the world's just fucking big huge cone over their head and instantly turns and points their guns at him within a second? I'm like, what, a fucking stick break and everybody freaked out? What happened?
It's a mystery.
How come everybody's trying to kill me? Stop flaming me, I'm right. But hey, if you're watching this late at night, we hope that you really did enjoy this podcast tonight. I know it's a little bit more of a ramble, but because of the fact that we're trying to do something new and different, instead of constantly having multiple topics, we wanted to focus on one specific one for once.
Yep.
I think it was okay. I think we did all right for this. If you have enjoyed, leave a comment, subscribe to James's channel. Since we had some smooth-ass jazz to lead us in, why don't we have that smooth-ass jazz lead us out?
Let yourself vibe out to this nice barrage of smooth jazz.
We hope we see you folks very soon.
This has been Open Mic Nights. Good night, God bless, and take care.